TikTok coming back is a huge W for creators and communities everywhere. By restoring TikTok's operations in the United States, President Trump has undoubtedly opened the door for critical discussions about censorship, corporate accountability, and the balance of power between states and tech giants. However, while this development may seem like a victory for freedom of expression and economic opportunity, it is also a reminder of the broader systemic issues tied to surveillance capitalism, exploitative algorithms, and global power dynamics. TikTok is that app. It's where marginalized voices, queer folks, BIPOC creators, and underdog communities finally get their shine. Whether it's a viral dance, an activism campaign, or just someone's unhinged rant, it's a digital stage for people who don't usually get a mic IRL. So yeah, its return is major for free speech and self-expression. But here's the thing, TikTok's algorithm, capitalism on steroids. The app doesn't care about your mental health or your sleep schedule. It cares about bagging ad dollars. And while it's hyping you up with dopamine hits, it's also mining your data like it's a gold rush. We got to talk about the elephant in the room. Surveillance capitalism. Everyone's pressed about TikTok being a Chinese app, and maybe, just maybe, sending your data to Beijing. Fair enough, that's shady. But let's not act like Meta, Google, and every other big tech company in the US isn't doing the exact same thing. This isn't just a TikTok problem, it's a tech problem. These platforms are basically legal stalkers, and we're letting them because we're addicted to the drip. Meanwhile, they're laughing all the way to the bank while we're stuck doom scrolling and spiraling over curated feeds. The app's addictive design disproportionately affects working class users and young people, undermining their mental health and ability to focus. The harms perpetuated by TikTok's algorithmic systems are systemic and require structural solutions that prioritize the collective welfare over corporate greed. President Trump proposed 50% US ownership in TikTok represents a troubling precedent. While framed as a move to protect national security, it underscores the risks of state capitalism and the potential for governments to co-opt private platforms for their own gain. Such interventions, if unchecked, risk turning social media into an instrument of state propaganda, undermining the very freedoms we seek to protect. Still, we have to admit that blocking TikTok completely would have been an L. Censorship isn't the move, and it always ends up hurting marginalized groups the most. TikTok's return should serve as a rallying cry for activists, technologists, and policymakers committed to a just and equitable future. To align with the principles of environmentalism, deontological ethics, and critical theory, we must demand systemic reforms. No more mystery math. We deserve to know how these platforms decide what pops up on our feeds. Platforms like TikTok must be held accountable for their recommendation systems, which amplify harmful content and exploit vulnerable users. Users should own their data with strict regulations on how it is collected, stored, and monetized. What if TikTok wasn't owned by billionaires or governments, but by the people who actually make it cool? That's the dream. Imagine a TikTok owned collectively by its creators and users, not by billionaires or states. This would align with the Marxist vision of dismantling capitalist exploitation in favor of cooperative ownership. TikTok's back, and we're here for it. But let's not forget, big tech is still messy. Algorithms are still manipulative, and your data is still up for grabs. Enjoy the vibes, but keep your third eye open. True liberation lies not in tinkering with ownership structures, but in reimagining technology as a tool for collective empowerment rather than exploitation. The fight for a free, equitable, and ethical internet is far from over.